The derelict Zephyrian battlecruiser Ashkente hung in the void like a metal tombstone, its hull scarred by plasma burns and micrometeorite impacts. For 3 centuries it had drifted through the neutral zone, a testament to the galaxy's most advanced civilization's hubris. The Zephyrians had abandoned it after their crushing defeat at the Battle of Zirion Prime, considering it worthless scrap metal floating in space. They couldn't have been more wrong. Adnan Martinez pressed his palm against the cold viewport of the salvage vessel Prometheus, watching the massive derelict grow larger as they approached. His breath fogged the transparisteel as he studied the alien architecture. Elegant curves and impossible geometries that spoke of technology far beyond human understanding. "Still can't believe Command approved this lunacy," Diana Chen muttered from the pilot's seat, her fingers dancing across holographic controls with practiced precision. Her reflection in the console screen showed tired eyes that had seen too many impossible missions, salvaging a dead Zephyrian ship with a crew of 12. The insurance alone should have killed this project. Adnan turned from the viewport, his weathered face creasing into a grin. That's why they sent the best salvage crew in the Terran Federation. Besides, when has humanity ever backed down from something just because it's impossible? The Ashkente stretched nearly 2 kilometers from bow to stern, its hull composed of some exotic alloy that shimmered with an oily iridescence. Weapon ports gaped like empty eye sockets along its flanks, and the massive engines that had once propelled it through hyperspace hung dark and silent. "Docking clamps engaged," Diana announced as their ship settled against the battlecruiser's hull with a metallic groan. "Reading minimal atmosphere in the sections we can access, but it's mostly nitrogen and trace gases. We'll need suits." 6 months later, the Ashkente was no longer derelict. The transformation had been gradual, almost organic in its progression. Adnan's team had started with basic repairs, sealing hull breaches, restoring life support to critical sections, mapping the labyrinthine interior. But as they delved deeper into the ship's mysteries, they discovered something extraordinary. Zephyrian technology wasn't just advanced, it was adaptive. The ship's quantum core hadn't been destroyed in battle. It had been dormant, waiting. When human hands began their repairs, feeding Earth-standard power conduits into alien systems, something remarkable happened. The ship began to learn. Diana stood in what had once been the bridge, now a hybrid of human engineering and Zephyrian artistry. Banks of Earth-built computers interfaced with flowing alien consoles that pulsed with bioluminescent displays. The air hummed with energy as systems that hadn't functioned in centuries came online with modifications that shouldn't have been possible. "The neural processing matrix has adapted to our command protocols," she reported to Adnan, who was deep in the ship's core chamber. "It's not just responding to our inputs, it's anticipating them. The ship is learning to think like we do." Adnan's voice crackled through the comm system, filled with wonder and exhaustion. "Diana, you need to see this. The quantum core isn't just powering the ship. It's rewriting its own programming based on human tactical doctrine. Every Earth battle we've fed into its databases, every human strategy it's analyzed, it's incorporating into its own systems." The breakthrough had come when they realized that Zephyrian technology operated on principles of biological adaptation rather than rigid programming. Where other species had tried to impose their own systems onto captured Zephyrian vessels and failed, humans had done something different. They had collaborated with the ship itself. 3 more months of careful integration followed. Human weapon systems were grafted onto Zephyrian targeting computers. Earth-designed armor plating was grown using alien nanotechnology. The ship's hyperdrive was rebuilt with human navigation protocols that turned the elegant Zephyrian FTL system into something far more aggressive and unpredictable. The Ashkente became something new, neither fully human nor Zephyrian, but a hybrid that combined the best of both civilizations. Its hull gleamed with reactive armor that could adapt to different weapon types. Its weapon systems incorporated human rapid-fire technology with Zephyrian precision targeting. Most importantly, its command systems had learned to think with human cunning and creativity. The true test came when the hegemony attacked. The insectoid hegemony had ruled the galaxy's eastern spiral for millennia, their hive mind efficiency crushing any resistance through sheer overwhelming force. When their scouts detected unusual energy signatures from the neutral zone, they dispatched a full battle group to investigate. They found the Ashkente waiting. Adnan stood on the hybrid bridge as 16 hegemony dreadnoughts dropped out of hyperspace, their weapons already charging for the first volley. Around him, his crew of 12 moved with practiced efficiency, their hands working controls that no human had been trained to use but somehow understood instinctively. "They're not trying to communicate," Diana observed from the tactical station. "Full battle formation, weapons hot. Looks like they're planning to ask questions after they turn us into debris." "Then let's give them something to think about," Adnan replied, settling into the captain's chair that had molded itself to his form over the months of integration. "Ashkante, show them what humanity does with cast-off toys." The ship responded not with words but with action. Where a traditional Zephyrian battlecruiser would have engaged with elegant, predictable maneuvers, the Ashkante fought like a human, dirty, unpredictable, and absolutely ruthless. It used the hegemony's own tactics against them, clustering their formation with false retreat maneuvers before unleashing devastating crossfire patterns. It employed human psychological warfare, broadcasting recordings of previous hegemony defeats while targeting their command ships with surgical precision. But most importantly, it adapted in real time to every hegemony response. When they adjusted their formation to counter human tactics, the ship shifted to Zephyrian precision strikes. When they compensated for that, it invented entirely new combat doctrines by combining both approaches in ways neither species had ever conceived. The battle lasted 47 minutes. When it was over, the Ashkante hung alone in space, its hull scarred but intact, surrounded by the expanding debris clouds of 16 hegemony dreadnoughts. The message that reached hegemony high command was simple. Humanity had taken something discarded and turned it into their worst nightmare. A weapon that thought like they did but fought with the accumulated knowledge of a dozen civilizations. Across the galaxy, alien species began to reconsider their assessment of the upstart humans. The Terran Federation had just announced their presence on the galactic stage, not with pristine new ships built in their yards, but with the recycled corpse of their former enemy, brought back to life through sheer human stubbornness and ingenuity. Diana looked out at the stars from the bridge of the Ashkante, watching as more human salvage vessels approached to begin similar projects with other derelict ships. "Think they'll ever understand how we did it?" Adnan leaned back in his chair, feeling the ship's systems pulse around them like a living heartbeat. "Probably not. They see technology as something to master and control. We see it as something to work with, to make into a partner." He gestured toward the viewports where the Ashkante's hybrid systems were already scanning for the next challenge. "They left it to rust because they thought it was broken. We turned it into the deadliest ship alive because we knew it just needed the right crew." The ship hummed its agreement, ready to show the galaxy what happened when humanity refused to let anything stay discarded for long.